The Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra. A big and beautiful piece of tech that absolutely blew my mind the first time I held it. For some people, this is overkill as Samsung also released the Tab S9 and the S9 Plus. For others like me, I enjoyed everything it had to offer. From the ridiculous 40-inch display, to appreciating the S Pen that comes in the box, to how everything just feels right with this tablet. Today, I want to review my real-world use, the highs and lows, and the issues that I have encountered in the last week to help you, the audience, decide if this tablet is worth getting or saving your money for the Tab S9, the S9 Plus, or even the Tab S8 Ultra. In all seriousness, this has got to be the biggest tablet that I have ever used. For context, this is bigger than a 13-inch MacBook Air. Now, I'm not mad at it, quite the opposite. The body and design screams premium. With its 14-inch display, it comes with a dynamic AMOLED screen and a 120Hz refresh rate, and I don't know what it is, but the 120Hz on this feels smoother than the iPad Pro. The back of the tablet and the frame are aluminum. It is also IP68 water and dust resistant, a big difference between this and the Tab S8 Ultra. Now, if it wasn't clear enough, by the sheer size of this tablet, it is 732 grams. That is heavier than the Pixel tablet and the 2022 13-inch iPad Pro. So keep that in mind as we go on. Now, at the bottom, it has a single USB-C port and 4 speakers, 2 on each side. The speakers are loud, but as it got louder, the bass got muffled and it was not as prominent, which just distracted me from what I was listening to. However, this is perfect if you're listening to your favorite podcast. Also, one more thing, there is an SD card slot if the 256 gig of storage is not enough. The display is a huge talking point with the Tab S9 Ultra, and for some people, it might be too big to use as an everyday device. Some even bought this without even having an idea how big it was, but they eventually got used to it. If you're still deciding how you use a 14-inch or a 16-inch laptop, it is mostly the same experience without the keyboard. That being said, the display will satisfy your daily needs. Now, if you're watching movies, it is absolutely amazing. I was watching Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and it took the animation, the colors to the next level. If you also want to use this device for mobile gaming, it fits right in. The bigger display equals a better experience in my opinion. They added a 60 to 120Hz refresh rate this time to ensure there's little to no stuttering if you push this tablet to its utmost limit. The brightness is also a welcome addition, going up to 900 nits of peak brightness. So if you find yourself in a situation where the sun is out, the adaptive brightness will make sure the tablet is visible, which is nice. Also, since I got this, it has sort of become my notepad. The S Pen, by the way, comes in the box, so you don't really need to buy it separately. This to me is added value because if you buy, say, the 13-inch iPad Pro, you have to get the Apple Pencil separately. Now, using this to write my notes and ideations on a daily basis was a joy to have. When writing on the Tab S9 Ultra, it has a sound effect that sounds like you're writing on an actual notebook. I mean, it's weird at first, but as you keep using it, the subconscious forgets its glass and just goes with the flow, and that is great for students mostly. Now, if you're buying a tablet this big, note-taking is probably a #1 priority. Generally, the S Pen is great. It comes in different colors depending on the color of your tablet. It's Bluetooth integrated and charges wirelessly, and it also is much more comfortable than the Apple Pencil. Gesture navigation is still here. I think it's still a gimmick in 2023, and I haven't really seen the need for it in any practical case. The software and the performance of the Tab S9 Ultra is really what you expect it to be, which is super fast and super efficient. Now this tablet can take anything you throw at it, and that is thanks to the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip. It is probably the most powerful chip that Samsung has had, thanks to it being tailored to Samsung devices. Multitasking feels great as I can have up to 3 apps on my screen simultaneously. I can have multiple apps in the background and resume whatever I want thanks to the 12 or 16 gigs of RAM. This tablet is the definition of specced out, and Samsung went all out. Now, if you want to get more of a laptop look and feel, you can enable Samsung DeX and plug it into an external monitor via the HDMI cable or wirelessly to your TV. You also get 4 years of Android updates which is nice. If you do buy this, you can be rest assured that over the next 2, 3, or even 4 years, the performance will be great, and I doubt there will be any reduction in quality. When it comes to the battery life, you will have a hard time killing this device. With the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, which has a 40% efficiency gain, it is no surprise that Samsung left the battery at 11,200 mAh. This is the same in the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra from last year. It can take you multiple days before you kill the battery, and I use this from taking notes, playing games, watching movies, listening to music, and many more. It is a delightful device to use without having to think of the battery. However, if your battery does die, charging this thing is a different story. Now, even though this charges up to 45 watts, it took about 2 or 3 hours before it reached 100%. It sounds like a long time, which it is. I just charge mine right before I go to bed, and that is how I charge most of my devices. Let's quickly talk about the cameras, and if I'm being honest, there's really not much to talk about. The cameras here aren't bad, but it's not great either. I also don't think Samsung intended for people to use this camera to take pictures, unless you're like 50 or 60 years old, as our parents used to do. Now at the back, it is a 13 megapixel wide angle lens and an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens. Like I said, it's not intended for primary picture taking, it's more for meetings if you work from home, and that's really about it. Ultimately, my experience with the Tab S9 Ultra has been positive. I've had my ups with the display and the performance, and my downs when it came to charging speeds and the price. Should you buy this right now though? It is difficult to say. If you have the Tab S8 Ultra, I do not think the upgrade is worth it. I mean, sure, you're missing out on better water and dust resistant rating, better performance, and a slightly better ultra-wide camera. Is that enough to spend $1,200? That depends on what you're looking for. But from my objective point of view, it isn't. If you have the Tab S6 or the Tab S7 and you want to upgrade, I still think the Tab S8 Ultra is the better deal. For one, it's cheaper and you can use the extra money to get accessories like the keyboard, for example. And if you think the Ultra's display is way too big for you, the Tab S9 Plus is a great middle ground and is $200 cheaper. Having said that, what are your thoughts on the Tab S9 Ultra? Do you think it's worth the upgrade, or do you think you want to get something else? Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, clicking that like button is the best way to help me out, and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you guys for watching. My name is KJOS, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.